This is live. This is live on one, but not the other. Anyway, so, hello. My name is Paul Brighton, aka Seafood Boggy, and welcome to the Way of Conscious Mindfulness. Now, this show is about mind, body, and spirit, and each week there is a different guest, and so the show is about them. So, the Way of this week is the lovely, the gorgeous Sheila Janan. Did I get your name right?
Yeah, sure, Janan. It's very, very close. Any way you say it, it'll be perfect for right now.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay. So I will pass. I always have as at least a couple of codes, or at least one. And this week I am lucky as always to have two of my favourite codes, as I'm a co myself. And I will pass it over to the ever so lovely, the so beautiful, the very gorgeous Michelle Infinity.
Oh, enchanté. Seafood Paul Boggy. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hi, everybody. We are giddy today. We are giddy and giggly. So this should be quite a show. So we hope that you guys can join us in this awesome new moon energy of July, where we're excited to talk to Sheila about health and wellness and mind-body connection. And I will pass it over to my friend Ethan to give her the proper introduction with his accent.
Hello everyone, my name is Ethan. I really don't have much to say at this point, except there is a lovely lady who has an awful lot of fascinating and great things to tell you, I'm sure, and her name is Sheila, and I would like to pass it over to her so I can learn more about the way of Sheila, and you can too!
Oh my gosh. Yay! Hi!
Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Wow, the way of Sheila. I'm on the spotlight. What to say, what to share. I'm on a mission to inspire 1 million people to live happy and healthy. And I started about 2 years with a development that I call Health Tip Girl. And it was inspired by my own recovery of recovering from 2 life-threatening dis-ease. And yeah, I do better with questions, I think, than just rattling and rattling. I don't want to.
Sure. Let's talk about, like, I mean, not to go into trauma right away, but that's what called my attention was, like you said, what was your experience being diagnosed with 2 life-threatening diseases, and how did that transform you?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I think that a lot of people get caught in their trauma, and so I don't want to talk about it too much, but I do want to honor the process that we go through that sometimes propels us into making healthy choices.
Sure.
So I will talk about my most recent dis-ease was traumatic in the way that no one could really figure out what was going on, and I had had so many misdiagnoses that I was no longer really trusting the medical system. And I had like antibiotics, which weren't really working. I was put on, I would say, painkillers that were giving me hallucinations. It was just kind of this crazy roundabout cycle of staying in the dis-ease. And so I really had to dig deep to find my own well of awareness to know what was right for me to do for myself. And so getting through that, I realized that every single person has the capability of doing that, that we are inherently connected to this consciousness that wants us to be healthy and radiant and alive and active and supercharged. And so my mission now is to empower as many people as I can with them tuning into who they are. And so it's kind of funny because I have people who are like, well, what do you do? And to say that I'm a holistic health practitioner, they're like, oh, well, what does that mean? And I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm really into talking about holistic health. And they're like, oh, are you a coach? You want to coach people? And I don't, honestly,
Yeah.
I don't want to coach people because I don't have the answers for other people. I mean, I have a lot of knowledge and understanding of what helped me to get healthy, which I'm happy to share with people. But I think it's so much more important that people start turning inward to recognize that they have the answers inside, and that we can look at outside sources. Like, I'll love me up some Dr. Axe or, you know, just even Googling information. But it's about feeling into our own system that says, yeah, that's right for me. I've got to follow that, if that makes any sense.
It does, and I looked at your website just really quick, like before. And can you share how you do that? How you are able to access your intuitive heart wisdom? I love how in your website you have body, heart, and mind. And I've been doing a lot of work with my own, like listening to your heart, because sometimes your heart, and I did a little post about this on Instagram, can lead you astray. Like your heart goes, it tells you one thing, and then you're like, oh, I'm not really sure. So people are conscious, people are all the time like wondering how to tune in, which voice in their head is the right voice, right? So how have you learned how to connect to that guidance system that has guided you into this healthy way of being, this holistic way of being?
That is such a good question. And I think that we get to practice that all the time, including myself. And so for me, it's a balance of getting really, really quiet. Like, I love meditation. And when you say there's these two voices, I think the more that I tune into my inner frequency of my feeling, like the solar plexus area, and when I tune into my body, when everything feels good, it's like I imagine that there's this light, and I'm this human shell, and there's light moving. If I'm allowing it, it moves at a very high frequency, right? We're starting to go to 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever, how many ever Ds you want. And it's our ability to tune into this frequency that's pouring through us. And when we're listening to our heart, there's no friction, right? For me, there's not anyway. But if my mind is activated, there's usually friction. There's this contrast. There's either like, oh, there's a pain in my body, or I feel resistance about something, or I'm overthinking and ruminating and ruminating and ruminating.
Awesome.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
Totally.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to jump in. I have a question. I would like to know if you're willing to share how your disease manifested. And I would like to say I'm really stoked that you're pronouncing the word the way it's meant to be pronounced. Because everyone says disease, but it's dis-ease. It's the fucking root. Oh, excuse me.
He threw an F-bomb. He threw an F-bomb.
I committed a moral sin. So the root of the word dis-ease is dis-ease. You have a dis-ease in your body, and I know that you know that by the way you're pronouncing it. So I would be really interested to know how it manifested in your life. Because
how did disease manifest in my life?
Yeah, like what the two major diseases were that you faced that you overcame. Because I'm a big believer in there's a holistic health practitioner named Paul Chek, and he talks about it in the form of the pain doctor, and the pain doctor comes to teach us things. I mean, we've all had experiences with the pain doctor. And at first, the pain doctor comes up and whispers in your ear, and if you don't listen, then he kicks you in the leg, and if you still don't listen, then he smacks you in the side of the head, and so on and so forth. So, like, I would really like to hear your experience with that, having faced very serious diseases, and especially from the sound of it, it sounded like you were trying to treat it from the Western perspective, and any disease from the Western perspective is far more terrifying than any disease in a holistic perspective. So you had to face that as well emotionally. So I would like to hear about that, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else does, but let's do it. It'll be fun.
I'm happy to share the best that I can, and if I get sidetracked, just like reel me back in. Just be like, whoa, girl, let's come back
we
here.
all do that, and that's why we all get along so well.
Okay. Okay, so let me just first start that. My first dis-ease happened when I was young, when I was 20. And not that I'm not young now, I was younger then. Yeah. So, but I felt very young then. I was very, and I wrote a little bit about this on my website if you go to my story and the story about my body. But, so the way that I look at it, in hindsight is always easier, I think, to understand, is that I had no spiritual background or upbringing at that time, although I was really psychic when I was in my teenage years, but I didn't know how to develop it, right? So at age 20, what would I say? There was so much disharmony between my mind and my heart and my body that I was creating, not on purpose, but without awareness, stuck energy.
Oh, yeah.
And so my understanding now is that all my stuck energy was in my throat. I had a thyroid disease, dis-ease, called Graves' disease. Isn't that a great name? Graves' disease. How to scare a young child. You have Graves' disease.
Yeah. Traumatize me even more.
Oh my God.
Not
So
scary
anyway,
enough that you're fucked up and die, and you feel like you're dying.
yeah, you're about to go to the grave, girl. So pay attention. All right, so at the time, I was super active. I was actually studying Okinawan karate, and was doing collegiate volleyball and was hiking. And basically, I had developed this tumor, a goiter, in my throat. Wow. And they said it was the largest that the doctors had ever seen for my age. That, like, it's extremely rare for young women to even get this dis-ease. Mm-hmm. And that I basically had so much pressure on my arteries that I had to make a decision within 2 weeks about what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. So they also told me that I was supposed to stop all exercise. I was like, F that. Are you kidding me? Like, movement is my life. Which is kind of a funny story. I'll take one sidetrack. Okay, so I was in this karate class. I was been told I couldn't do any more movement. Oh, get this. They told me that my levels, right, my levels were so high and offset in my body that I should have clinically been insane and institutional in a mental hospital. That's what they told me.
Ethan's reaction is awesome.
I was like, what am I supposed to do with this information? They look at my mom and they're like, has she been moody lately? And I'm like, I'm 20 years old. I'm a girl. Am I moody? Of course I'm moody. Shut the fuck up. Okay, anyway, so I have this assignment for college for my karate class that we're supposed to hike up the mountain. I'm living in Tucson, Arizona. I don't know if you know the mountains. They're totally gorgeous. And we're supposed to hike up. You can make it in one day. Then we do our little karate test up there, and we hike down.
That sounds epic. We never did anything that cool when I did Kung Fu.
So cool. So cool. So I was like, well, I'm not missing out on this. Are you kidding me?
Right.
This is like my final. This is my final we're supposed to do. I don't tell anyone. P.S., by the way, I don't tell anyone that I've been diagnosed with anything. Like, I'm in total denial, other than with my mother, who's taking me to doctor's visits and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I learned about muscle fatigue, and I get like 3/4 of the way up the mountain, and I was just like, oh, that's what it feels like to not be able to move your legs anymore. All right, cool. So I just kind of like sat on the side next to this bush, and there was like the TA that was coming up behind, trying to get people up. Anyway, so I was like the last one, made it up to the top. I didn't even care what they thought. They were like, man, this girl really cannot hang. Like, she cannot hang. And then didn't even have to do the test, passed, and I ended up going down the mountain. I remember getting so tired going down the mountain that I like curled up next to a bush because it's so hot, Tucson, desert, you know what I mean? I curled up next to a bush and I just fell asleep in the bushes.
Bless your soul.
Until like one of the teachers came and was like, oh, we should probably help this girl get down the mountain. So that's one of my stories. I told you I would get sidetracked, Ethan.
That's fine. You should hear me. I talk for hours.
Okay, so this is what I learned. What I learned afterwards. So I didn't know my dad until I was 20 years old. Okay, so when did I get diagnosed with this thyroid disease? 20 years old. Do you think there's a connection there?
No.
I don't know. So what I learned looking back is that my understanding of where things happen in the body, you know, there's all these different ways we can look at it. I had this stagnant energy in my throat because when I was little and I was being removed from my father when I was age 4, I didn't know how to speak my truth. Like no one would hear me. And so I had manifested all this stuck energy of not being able to speak my truth. And that's actually been one of my life lessons in life still, is to learn how to speak my truth and feel safe speaking my truth and own like what is my truth and be okay with it.
That's huge. That's a huge lesson for women especially, I feel. So yeah.
Totally.
Everything and everyone is your see-through.
What, Boggy?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, but your picture is gone.
Oh, is it?
I see
the picture of you. I don't see video of you anymore.
Okay. Well, I can see it.
You've gone away from video land.
He's in the void.
Keep talking.
Keep talking, okay. Everything and everyone is your see-through. So in Taoist philosophy, the whole point that your organs talk to you. Everything talks to you, but your different emotions, different feelings live and dwell in different organs. So in the Eastern approach, in the Chinese approach, they would say, yep, that's happening because of this, because of the deep part of your father at that age. You know, this makes sense, this happens. But in the West, we don't see one connected to the other. And this is, you know, this is the big thing, just the word itself, as Ethan says, as you very graciously said it straight away, dis-ease, dysfunction. It's the unease in your body. It's become a it's been dis-eased. You know, it breaks, it separates, and that's, you know, if people, you know, it's this weird thing, like the whole thing of sacred sounds. In I know Buddhism and also in Taoism, you have the sacred sounds, and there's the 6 sacred sounds for the organs, and it's to ease the organ, to generate the energy in the organ, because the organ is either, in Taoist terms, things are either too yin or too yang, and the aim of the Tao is to become balanced, is to create harmony within the body. And then you create harmony within the elements, and the elements, each element represents at least 2 organs within your body, because one is the yin and one is the yang. And I'm going to you talk about going off on tangents, I can go off on right tangents, but the whole point is yeah, it's all about balance, but it's also about understanding is that your body is you, your body is affected by your emotions. So,
yes.
So
I've got a story. I can illustrate this perfectly. Like, I grew up with a lot of trauma and a lot of fear, and I have Asperger's, so I generally don't feel safe. So as a result, up until I really started to get my diet and lifestyle fully corrected and all that sort of stuff, I would get urinary tract infections. I had a really bad internal fungal infection. And when your intestines and your organs aren't working, they outsource pain because they don't actually have nerve endings, and also it shuts down your body's ability to use like to recruit your inner stabilizers for your core. So that leads to having like a bad back, and I had back issues for a while. So like it always manifests, and that's root chakra issues, not feeling safe. So where does it manifest in your body? As a urinary tract infection, as a fungal infection in your intestines, as all of those things, to the point where like I was so out of balance that I couldn't eat spices because I was so yang that if I ate spices it would push me over the edge even more. So I forgot where I was going with that. We can all go on tangents. Whose turn is it? No, it's your turn to go on a tangent now.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go for it, Sheila.
It's fine.
Piggyback on what you're saying, because here's what I love about people understanding holistic health. So when I listen to you, Ethan, and I hear, you know, how you're connecting to your body and how you're understanding how to help your body, I love that it's perfect for you. And I love that, like, no matter what any person understands about their chakra system or their Ayurvedic training or their, you know, Chinese medicine training, that's what connects the body to flow. So I think the irresponsibility that's happening that I see so far, but we're getting a lot better at it, is saying, this worked for me, it has to be right for you. And that's, yes, right?
We can all have the same diet. We can all follow the same exercise regime. We're all the same, so we can fit in the nice little box and be put on the shelf like everybody else.
Right, because where your body holds certain trauma, it doesn't mean that that's where my body is going to hold certain trauma, although there are a lot of similarities. For example, like the root chakra or the throat chakra or the crown or whatever. Yeah. But I think what's most important for people to remember is that whatever you learn, what's most important is how you feel about the information that you learn. So what's great about your story, Ethan, is that you've figured out what works for you. You've figured out, like, whether spices are good in your body or spices aren't good in your body. Which means nothing to somebody else except they get to listen to it and be like, oh, yeah, that resonates with me, or that guy is on fucking crack. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Sometimes I'll talk to people about stuff, and you can tell they just have that glazed look in their eye. Because I really hate referencing Facebook because it seems so cliche, but there's some great wisdom on Facebook, and a great thing I saw not that long ago, somebody shared. It might have been you, Buggy. It might have been.
I was going to say, there better be some great wisdom on Facebook because I'm throwing stuff out there all the time.
Yeah, so it's something people can only hear you to the level, people can only understand you to the level that they can hear you. So, like, you know, I remember, like, a great example is I just got out of a serious committed relationship for 8 years, and there were things that my partner had been telling me the whole time that I couldn't hear up until, like, the last year or two. And, like, I had no memory of hearing it. I know she told me, but it just couldn't penetrate my consciousness because I wasn't capable of understanding the truth at that point. And I'm going to do my little truth and faith thing because I got to do it every show. So that to differentiate between truth and faith, faith is, you know, it's going to suck to lose your wallet because you've seen your friends lose their wallet. The truth is, you lose your wallet, you understand how much it sucks. And actually, I was just reading on Joseph Campbell about this the other day, about how that's the difference between a shaman and a priest. Is a shaman has their own familiars, they have their own experience, they've gone through a healing, they have the truth of it, where a priest is just telling you his faith. Because he's had no great spiritual experience. Wow. He hasn't been through the initiation process like a shaman has, of going through a disease or going through an extreme emotional experience to separate them from their tribe, because I think it's an Einstein saying, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that made the problem. So, you know, our humans are naturally built to have shamans, so that way the shaman can be like, I'm looking at this from a different perspective. I think you guys are doing this wrong. And there's enough respect and credibility in the shaman's process hopefully for a society to be like, hey, I'm going to listen to you because you've been through it and we haven't. So that's my little blurb about faith and truth. Somebody else's turn. I passed the stick. Yeah.
Well, for me, the whole point of there's a thing of like a teacher and a sifu. A sifu, in Chinese, sifu sort of breaks down to father teacher, but straight away that's actually wrong, because there are a female, a woman is also a sifu. But when you actually break it down more, sifu means muse or guide. The whole point of it's that interesting thing when we talk about spiritual stuff, because you should try this and you should try that. One of the things of the doubt, for me, or at least the way I was taught Taoism is about the way, but it's about your way. What works for you? So if this and this works for you, awesome, do that. That might not work for me, but that doesn't bloody matter because it's what works for you. So the whole point of a muse for me, the whole point of, because I've basically trained as a barefoot doctor and a dragon dog shaman, and the whole point of those two was you help find a person's direction. You point them in the right direction,
Yes.
but you don't say you must go down there. You give them the tools. You say, taste this.
Yes.
Did you like it? Do you not like it? Okay, throw that one away. Taste this. Do you like it? Don't like it? Throw that one away. Okay, and you work out what works best for them. Just like you work, what's happened in the West is that in medicine,
Right. Yes.
In medicine, we don't look at what caused the problem. We look at the pain, and what's happened in Western medicine is the whole point of pharmaceutical companies is they talk about relieving symptoms, not solving the issue. So it's
if you solve the problem, then the money is over. If you've solved the problem, then the thinking is corrected. If you solve the problem, then there's no problem anymore. And where's the money in that?
Well,
this is the problem,
I want to jump in again, please.
Please do.
Please do.
Say that it is an epidemic that we're looking at the problem and trying to figure out why it's there. And I used to love that too. And I think that we can get beyond that, especially from the question you said, Michelle, is like the more that we tune into our heart, the more that we're allowing this energy to flow. And so let's just simplify it and allow flow. Because the only reason why there is dis-ease is because there's lack of flow. So who cares, honestly? Who cares why there's lack of flow? Let's just get it flowing again. And I'm not saying that there isn't an important aspect to each person maybe understanding for themselves why there's a lack of flow, but I think we put way, way, way too far much emphasis on it because that's the energy that's keeping it there anyway. You're going to just keep ruminating your thoughts about like, oh, why do I have this problem? Why did it get there? Oh, not that we're like, oh, who can we blame? But, oh, I've got to tap into my ancestors and 20,000 years ago of why it's there. Who cares?
Right
like,
on.
From your mother or your father or your sister, it's all your own energy, and how about we just open it up and let it flow and let it flow and let it flow.
I absolutely agree. I think that's one thing I've always really admired about the Chinese. I was homeschooled, so I have very large gaps in my knowledge that I have no interest in filling. Like, I watched Bill Nye the Science Guy for science, and that's my science. That's the science I've had in my life. I'm 30 years old now. That was my science class. I don't need to know.
That's probably the best science class ever.
I'm okay with it,
Yeah.
So like that's one thing I've always really admired about the Chinese is they go, yes, chi is there, yes, energy flows this way, all of these things, and no, we don't really care why. At the end of the day, we know it's there. We understand how to use it. That's all we need to know. We don't need to get into this minutia of why is this happening? Why is this happening? It's enough to just know that it's happening and try and enjoy the experience. Like, I have a lot of really unique and coincidental or magical, depending on how you want to look at it, things happening in my life. And at a certain point, it just becomes a matter of you can walk around being like shell-shocked, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, or you can accept it and just recognize the beauty of it and let it be and not try to figure it out and put it in a little box. And then what you said about blaming earlier, we're trained to blame people by our society because we live in a domination culture. Because if you can blame someone else for your problems, then that makes that person wrong. That makes you right. And because of how we're trained, that means that you get to punish them for being wrong. There's been a lot of really unpleasant research done about this, about how people, if they feel like they're in the role where they're expected to punish people, they've put actors in chairs and had them pretend to be electrocuted. People will almost pretend, like, kill people because they think that they're actually torturing someone. But they feel like they have to for this test because the other person was wrong. Nonviolent communication explains it all. Marshall and Rosenberg. amazing man. The foreword to the book is by Gandhi's grandson. It's like Gandhi's thinking simplified. Nonviolent communication will change your life. And 100%, we're trained to blame people for everything because, I mean, like, look at what happens. You're stuck in traffic. You blame somebody else for being stuck in traffic. You're late for work. It's somebody else's fault you were late for work. It's not your fault that you didn't get up early enough or didn't plan for it or whatever. So I'm not saying that you're blaming people. I'm just saying that as a consciousness in Western culture, that is how we are trained, is to blame. That's why people get mad when they get hurt.
But like, I think that's part of the old paradigm of and there's a lot more people who are awake now.
Yes.
There's a lot more people who had to accept responsibility. I mean, I used to think it was like this wave of the elders that only knew this information and we had to pass it down to like the younger generation, which I'm not seeing that anymore. I am seeing where the youngsters are coming in and they're awake.
Yes.
And only if we put them to sleep do they have to reawake. But I'm seeing tons and tons 20-year-olds, teenagers, 30-year-olds that are awake. They're not going to go to sleep, and they're already taking full responsibility. They're like, what do you mean to blame? I am the creator, and I co-create my dream world awake. You're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? Totally. And then like finding enough people, you know, if it's my age or older, who were asleep for a while, and then we woke up, and now we're like, yeah, we're awake, never going back to sleep again, you know. And so I feel like there is a huge wave of consciousness that is so much bigger than ever before. And you know, I live in my little rainbow bubble a lot, but this is what I believe. I'm seeing it around me where I hadn't seen it around me before.
Yeah, but whatever you believe is true for you, and that's the whole point. If you are the creator, what you believe is true for you. So make it so. One of the great
so it
is. Well, one of the great things at the moment on my profile, because you can do the little videos, I've actually got as my little profile video or my little profile picture says, "Let go and go with the chi flow." And you know, it's there's so much, you know, so much there. You just let go and go with the flow, man. You know, so many things can, you know, you can work it all out, and you can set it all up, and because that's the whole point in the sort of the Eastern point of view. There's two ways you can work it. You can know all the elements. You can know the 10,000 things. You know to figure it out, or you can just pardon my French, but let the fuck go and just go with it and just do what needs to be done and be in the heart, you know, be in the heart, be happy, just enjoy things, the whole thing. One of the old Taoist sayings is to take responsibility like an adult, but to be childlike. And be childlike means to play, to look at a beautiful sunset. It's the sun is slowly setting here in the UK. And through a window, I can see the sun setting. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, and I love. And the it's summer here, so the butterflies are all out. And you know, there's occasionally there's dragonflies, which are awesome. I love dragonflies. And there's when I go to the lake, and you know, I'm getting all excited because simple things that's what you're supposed to have pleasure with. And it's one of these things where we've got so hooked up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on this and that, on the other, on TV, that we get so caught up in all these technological things that we start to miss the point. And the point of life is to bloody enjoy it, is to have fun, and to find that flow. Is that, yeah, whatever you focus on is true, and whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus on the negative shite, you will get more negative shite. The whole point of the law of attraction is whatever you focus on grows. The one thing with that for me is, or students I've taught is, if your manifesting is not working, do more qigong, build up your chi, and let out more cha, let out the negativity, let out the stress. Because the only thing that blocks your flow is negativity and not enough energy. So if you do the exercises, the qigongs that build up your energy, but also qigong is going out and just you know, being in the forest or being on a beach or being on a mountain. That's qigong. It's an energy exercise. Enjoy the energy of that exercise. But hey, what do I know? Somebody else said.
Well, I think that's the beauty of each person doing what inspires them, and that's what I encourage. Like, I have this program called the Power Up program that's on my site, and it's encouraging each person to do what helps them. Some people might want to go out in nature. Some people might want to go to a sports game. They could be like the biggest sports fan, and going to football games totally amps up their chi. It's like, who are we to say that Qigong is the only way to move energy? It's not. I mean, I freaking love Qigong. I kind of like yoga. I mean, I like yoga, but not as much as like a ton of my friends that love yoga, but who cares? I also like dancing. I can cook and dance at the same time. So I think what I love to do is to empower people to do things that feel good to them, because that's how your chi is going to flow. And who are we to say how to get your chi to flow best?
Totally. I had an experience like that not too long ago. I was helping a guy who was passing away from cancer, and his wife, you know, who she was taking care of, and obviously he had been passing away for like 10 plus years, and it was very stressful and very painful for her. And I'm the homeschooled dyslexic kid. I'm 29. I'm almost 30 years old, and I don't know the scoring system of football. Straight guy in America that doesn't know the scoring system of football at 30. So I have a lot of issues with the masculine and how it manifests in sports and all that sort of stuff. And she really liked football, and it was this really amazing experience for me, because for the first time in my life, I saw football actually helping someone. I saw it making her smile and taking her out of her pain and bringing her back to the present moment. And I'd never before in my life seen football, seen the light side of football, because it's just there's so much darkness there at so many levels. Well, between like the disillusion, and you know, NFL players statistically die 10 years younger because of the abuse and trauma their body takes. So many things, you know, it's what every young boy wants to grow up to be. It's an unachievable goal for so many young boys, and all sorts of stuff. But to see that lightness of the football, it just reminded me of what you were saying about, like, yes, I absolutely agree that there's really something to the light being light for whoever it's shining on.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that last thing? The light is what for whoever's shining on?
The light is only light for whoever it's shining on.
The light is only light.
What I would consider to be light shining on me. You know, I just had this shamanic experience where I got bit by a spider a bunch of times in a row and threw up from being poisoned. Got a hand-poked tattoo, which are absolutely awful. But to me, that was amazing and spiritual and this great thing, and it involved having poison in my body and being bitten in uncomfortable places and tattooed and all sorts of stuff. And a lot of people would consider that a certain kind of hell. But to me, it was this amazing, expansive experience, and so that was how the light manifested to me.
Right.
But if that was to manifest to somebody else, it would be this awful, horrifying. I mean, I'm not saying I was like, yeah, this is great, you know. But at the end of the day, that was the light and how the light chose to manifest for me, because that was how I needed to have it filtered through my consciousness. So, cool.
Yeah.
So Sheila, I have a question that's buzzing in from my heart that's saying, so what you do with people, your clients, your people, you navigate and align them to what their flow of chi would be naturally. You help them identify that for themselves and then make practice of that in their lives, or can you more explain?
Yeah, well, I don't have any private clients right now. Okay. So right now, what I've done is I've developed a program that's a year-long program, and it's 3 emails a week, and all it is all these reminders to anyone who wants it of how to make healthy choices. From something as simple as make sure you're drinking enough water every single day. I mean, I don't know how many times I catch myself not drinking enough water.
Yeah, that's true.
I took the cue.
Right? So, I mean, it's a tip as simple as that. And so I give 3 tips a week, and it empowers people in different ways. One is, oh yeah, I signed up for this thing because I want to be more healthy and I want to feel empowered. 2, it's like, oh, look, I am being reminded that I can eat zucchini noodles instead of pasta noodles. Maybe I already knew that. Maybe I didn't. Like, what the heck is a spiralizer? I don't know. Or somebody's like, yeah, I have a spiralizer. I totally do not use that enough. You know, so it's like all these little tips, whether it be from Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, throwing in a little Western medicine sometimes, you know, things
Medicine's not all bad.
where each person can decide, like, oh my God, you're right, I freaking love chocolate, and chocolate actually is medicinal, and let me make sure I'm eating chocolate every single day as long as it's 70% dark chocolate. You know, so that's the way that I've created it, because a couple of reasons. One is I have found the whole like client personal one-on-one, it creates an imbalance from what I've seen is where people are still relying too much on somebody outside of them to have the answers. And that's the biggest thing. Two, like for the people that I think really, so there's like, okay, let me reel myself in. I'm getting all excited.
Don't reel yourself in if you're excited. Let yourself go.
Okay. So the other reason why I don't do it is because oftentimes a lot of people will hire a coach but don't want to work. And
how wonderful.
I'm like, forget that. Like, I'm not going to work harder than you. Oh, you want to spend money? I don't even want your money if you're not going to work. So I get a little feisty in that way. Right? I'm like,
I support you.
No, I don't do one-on-one coaching that way. And then the other, I like have friends who, so then I have friends that are like, oh, do high-level coaching. You can charge like $5,000 and then people will listen to you because they've spent an extraordinary amount of money on you.
Yeah.
Which is also not true. It's setting up the you know something that I don't. Right? It's like, oh, you have some sort of information that I need. External source. So there's still an unbalance in energy. Likewise, do you really think you want to pay me $5,000 for information that you probably have within yourself? I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me, this imbalance in the world where I see people paying so much money for information that they can get within themselves. And you know what? I have friends that do high-level coaching. I love you. They're probably cursing me right now. That's okay, because everyone can find what resonates for them. So that's why I created more of like a low cost, and it's simple, it's easy. You get 3 emails a week, and you're just reminded to empower yourself. Okay, I've come down my soapbox a little bit.
Now, I really want you to go more into this, and you can or you cannot, but like this, how people like listen to their hearts. All right. Well, I have 2 questions then because I'm going to be guided. You wrote on your website, my newfound holistic approach to life aligned me to my heart. The gentle yet powerful spirit residing inside that whispers softly, but when heard leads all in the right ways. And then we go into the flow. Little by little, synchronicities started happening one after another, and my world opened in amazing new ways. So I have a 2-part question, because I already kind of asked the first one, which is, how do we really allow ourselves to hear what we need, what our next right action is, what that guidance system, how do we get a fine-tuned relationship with our inner guidance system that leads us into that wholeness? And then once we're in that flow, this is a really good question, this is a juicy question, once we're in that flow of synchronicity, and I feel like spiralizer, once we're in that flow of synchronicity, how do we maximize and like amplify and allow that to go more, as opposed to, I mean, there's so many things that can happen where, you know, you can mistrust yourself, dull it out, you can drop the ball, there's all these things, but how do we like amplify the flow so that we can create more and more of that highest vibration of whether it be health or anything else in our lives?
Okay, great questions, and help me remember them if I forget one after answering the other.
All good.
So when my experience of tuning in and my experience of getting quiet is meditation. I think meditation is key for anyone. And it's this balance of learning to relax the mind, because the mind is so protective. My mind chatters all the time. It can be chattering 24/7. It can tell me I'm not good enough. It can tell me, I can't believe you're even doing a show in London. What the heck, you know, XYZ. It can be like, who wants to listen to you anyway? It can be like, I can't believe you just put that meme out there. You know, whatever. The mind, and so my mind and the ego has a very loud responsibility to protect me, and I would imagine you. Most people have these protective egos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with meditation, I have found that I can slow down. And I can get my mind to be a little bit more quiet. And then when I've tuned out that chatter, I can hear my source.
Mm.
And my source are like these soft little whispers. And it's these like little prrr, prrr, prrr. What did you say, Ethan?
Like a feather tickle?
Yes. It's like you gotta slow down long enough to feel the little feather tickles.
Awesome.
And so for me, that's been my experience when I'm able to like tune out the world and then soften my mind, then I can hear source.
Yeah.
And then I've learned through that practice of being able to keep that up long enough. And like you said, like these spirals, I totally see spirals and receive spirals all the time. Recycling, my belief is recycling through life lessons all the time. And something can come up. Let's say it's the way that I get angry about feeling rejected. Oh man, the R word for me, I don't know, it creates like monster Sheila. And so I can cycle through that. Like the first time I got rejected was horrible, and like I would get distraught and cry for days, and oh, here's my kitty. And then,
She came to soothe you because you went into the rejected space. Your energy changed, and then the cat comes. The cats heal, man. It's amazing. Our familiars. It's nuts.
Oh, I wanted to pick her up. Give her a cameo. So then, you know, the rejected button will like be calm for 6 months, and then it'll surface again. And then how do I handle it? Or 2 years, or whatever. And so we have I have all these things that can come up for me, and then it's like, how do I navigate it? And what I've noticed is the more that I am. Let me sidetrack for 1 second too. I think the reason why I can hear so clearly the guidance of my own source is because I keep as clean as possible. That means whatever goes in my body has to harmonize with my body. Nice. So I'm not here to preach what's right to eat, but I am going to say I am 111% committed to making sure my body stays in harmony, because I got so close to dying twice. Wow. And it hurt like hell. Like the second time I got close to death, and I put a little bit on my website, I was like in the bathtub crying. I had called my mom basically to say goodbye. I was like, she was, you know, born again Christian. I was like, okay, this is the time you need to pray to Jesus, Mom, because I'm not sure I'm going to make it through the night, and just pray for me. And I remember getting in the bathtub, I had broken out, like almost every pore of my body was bleeding out.
Jesus.
And it was so painful. I know, I had pores. See, Jesus, we had to call in the Jesus, right? And so I had sores on my belly. I had all these open sores going down my legs from my knees to my
goddess.
and down my back. And the last diagnosis was possible poison ivy, maybe worst eczema case they had ever seen.
That's insane. That's insane.
I know! Insane. And I just want to say, while I'm thinking about it, the next topic, while we still have time, because I don't want to run out of time, is to talk about cancer, because I feel like it's really important.
Sure.
Okay, so after this whole healing crisis and returning back into balance and returning back to, no one had the answers at that time other than me. And that was my come to God, come to Jesus, come to Source, come to self moment of like, I'm going to survive. And the only way I'm going to survive now is if I listen to me.
Wow.
And it didn't mean that I don't listen to other people, but it meant what happens to me when I listen to other people. And so the cleaner I got and the more that I listened, I would literally go to the grocery store and I could feel the food shocking to me almost. It was like a magnetism energy. And I could look at an orange and feel whether or not that was something I was supposed to pick up and take home.
Yeah,
I gotta cut in for a second. It's the same as cooking. I've been a cook for a long time. Food tells you when it's done. You can hear it.
Yeah, totally.
It sends out a vibrational frequency, a vibrational wave. It's like, hey, I'm done. Come get me.
Check it. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was a professional cook. I used to work in restaurants. And
look, here's my little kitty. She wants
to match.
Kitty.
The cats match is crazy.
Okay, she's like, all right, I'm done.
Even Ethan's cat matches.
Yeah, she's like, that was so embarrassing, Mom. Just put me down, whatever.
Right.
So to go back to trying to answer this question as succinctly as I is, I think every person, if they want to stay healthy, eat as clean as they can for their body. Some people, they need to eat a bucket load of meat.
Yo, that's
God
me.
bless them. Eat a bucket load of meat. I mean, the part of me would be like, okay, so I would encourage organic, free-range, happy cows.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Totally. I'm not eating anything.
Like a cool thing to do. But if you're like, no, I need an angry cow, pesticides, I'm like, okay, so go get it. I don't care. Like, do what resonates for you, and everyone else shut the F up telling other people what to do. Like, I think the biggest thing is for us to focus on ourselves, focus on what it is for each person to be healthy and each person to be happy. And if everybody did that, we'd have 1 million plus happy and healthy people. And no one would be judging and pointing the finger anywhere else. They wouldn't be like, I can't believe you're eating an unhappy cow. You suck.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, awesome, I just ate a happy cow. Or, oh my God, I love vegetables, and vegetables rock my world. Have you tried them with turmeric and Italian seasoning? Like, it's like, you know.
Do you put turmeric and Italian seasoning together? Really?
Yes! I do it all the time.
Cool.
Like, why? You're crazy. One's from India, one's from Italy. No. Sin.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'm getting really excited.
So I just want to say, just for a spiritual recap.
Excited. Got excited.
Recap me.
Everyone should be really excited. Everyone should be so excited that they can barely withhold. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. See? It's good for you. It's like anger. Everyone's like, oh no, anger's bad. Get really fucking pissed off sometimes. You will feel so empowered. You will feel so strong and so mighty. Get fucking enraged and go bellow around your house. Like,
that doesn't work for me, but if it works for you, that's cool, because, you know.
If I bellow around my house, I need one of those hammers that you make.
I make axes now, too.
Or an axe, yeah.
But were you going to recap or no?
I do, sister. I just wanted to say, I mean, the way that it happened, like, I would not wish on anyone, but man, the commitment to, I wanted to say, like, the altar of yourself, the holy, like, that thread of, like, I saw in you when you were speaking, I was just like, damn, like, that, you have such a commitment of you just got to know yourself so deeply, so profoundly from that experience. And non-negotiably for the rest of your life. That's strong and like a privilege. And I would never, ever wish on anyone that they went through that. I can't even imagine ever. I've never, thank God, I have not had anything like that. That's so significant. But wow, what that gave you was like this commitment, you know, of integrity and like just, I don't have another word, a resolve, which is something that in my own, yeah, truth, exactly. It's truth, your own truth.
Yeah, you're just one kick-ass Sifu, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it's the reason why I get so excited is because it kind of stems back to, actually, if I might say, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he created meditation way back when, and it was called Getting Into the Gap. And part of it was you can have an experience with God without having to have a near-death experience. You don't have to have the trauma of the near-death experience to experience God. And he created this meditation called Getting Into the Gap. It was probably one of the most profound meditations I had ever had in my entire life once I actually like got into it and got deep. And this is what kind of propels me now, is that I don't want anyone to have to experience the trauma that I did. I want to be able to broadcast my knowledge and the truth, my truth, loud enough where people can absorb it and translate it and utilize it for themselves, so they don't have to be down the unhealthy road. They don't have to be down the, oh, I'm going to wait until my body is in so much dis-ease and unharmony that I have to change.
Now, I have a question, and you can answer this or not because it's very personal. We were talking about the I do energy work, so the energetic makeup or the energetic reason behind why that the unknowable disease was. So is there anything that you can share that was the spiritual component or what the lesson was, besides obviously to give you unshakable resolve and commitment and become a health and wellness coach? Besides that, obviously, karmic life path, what were you clearing or what were you working on at that time where you died? Yeah. And share what you are willing.
I wouldn't say that I have all the answers because it's so interwoven.
Yeah.
I would say that, to make it as brief as I can, I had candida overgrowth.
Okay.
So if you knew anything about candida, right? Candida. So, I mean, which I could go on about. I have been on my soapbox about candida.
Really? I always wonder if I have it because I have these little pimples, you know, that come up when I eat anything that's sugary.
Right. Oh, okay, so sugar's bad for you. I'll get on my sugar any day.
So what I've learned is that anything that has to do with the skin is that we're irritating ourselves.
Right.
So something about what I was allowed, which was probably my disconnection to source. I was irritating myself. And the other is that anything that has to do with something happened with the sound. I'm getting like massive feedback. That's okay. Something about what I was I don't know what's happening anymore.
That was trippy.
That's like still trippy what's happening. Okay, I think it's back. No, it's gone. Sifu. There we go. Okay, there. So the other thing that I learned is that anything that manifests on the skin is also what's going on internally in the digestive system.
Yeah.
So the next key huge aha I had is it had to do with how I was digesting life and my lack of digesting life. So there were so many factors that were taking place. And often in times with any healing crisis, you know, if we don't listen to the soft whispers of the body being like, you know, we think, oh, I've got pain in my shoulder, now I've got to pay attention to it. Well, do you know how long my belief is that you've been carrying a thought that's been repeating for so long that now it's manifesting here to get our attention.
Exactly.
Right? So, you know, What do I say? I was hard-headed.
I relate with that.
I mean, it's my life path. I mean, I guess here I have this mission to inspire 1 million people to live happy and healthy. I could go down the road. I signed up for that. I mean, but the biggest thing I've learned is that so much shows up in how we digest life. And how do we digest life? I mean, anger in our liver, fear in our kidneys, everything that goes through our whole intestinal system. I did a huge, huge cleanse to survive that. I will say, probably the most profound cleanse that I have found in the United States to get through that.
Tell me more. I want to know more about this.
Yeah, I know. I love when people talk about cleanses. It's like, for some reason, I always want, I'm like, I should do one now. Like, whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, okay, so long story shorter, and this is going to gross some people out, and I'm okay with that. So there's this place on the Big Island in Hawaii, and it's called the Aloha Farms, and some beautiful, beautiful people who do amazing work there do this 10-day cleanse. And
Are you talking about Kassar?
Am I talking about what?
Dr. Robert Kassar's clinic?
No.
Oh, I know another guy who does crazy detoxes in Hawaii.
Oh, so. They're popping up everywhere. It's the
I know.
So it's a 10-day hydrocolon therapy cleanse, but it's gravity fed. So it's 20 gallons a day for 10 days. That means 200 gallons in 10 days.
Damn.
Damn.
I've done colon before. I've been down that road, and that, holy crap. That is
yeah, it turns into holy crap. That's for sure. And that's exactly what happened, because actually in this particular cleanse, it's 20 gallons a day. It took me about 2 hours to do the 20 gallons, and it's not machine fed. So we're not talking you're pumped up with water. It's talking you gotta you gotta allow it in and allow it out.
Oh so my God, spiritual like crazy.
Crazy girl. I'm telling you, I had like my moment with Jesus several times on that cleanse. And talk about like, so it cleans from the ascending colon across the transverse colon and down the descending colon. Mm-hmm. Those are the parts of your intestine, right? And so on day 7, there's this optional liver cleanse, because they recommend don't ever do a liver cleanse without making sure that you've cleansed everything going out, because otherwise stuff will get lodged in there. And so when you do like the liver gallbladder flush, it's all, everyone wants to know this, like half the people are like, oh my God, I don't want to know. But there's these little like bright neon green pellets that come out, and literally like your gallbladder is supposed to be like this big, right? Like, little gallbladder that holds your bitter anger. So, and I could go on for hours to tell stories, but I'll share this one. So I get to day 7, I'm like, yeah, let's get it all out. Clean me. Yeah, get out the anger, get out the stored bitter anger. I go to flush. So what happens when you're on the toilet eventually and you're letting it out, there's like a basket and it holds stuff so you can see, because
wow.
Parasites and stuff come out, like a lot of parasites.
Wow.
And so what happened is my whole entire bowl fills up, probably about that big, the whole top of the service, with all these green little pellets. Like literally if I had scooped them up and packed them together, it would have been like the size of a tennis ball. And
they were inside your gallbladder?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, so I had a lot of cleansing to do. I've done a lot of cleansing. I highly recommend cleansing. There's all different ways people can cleanse.
So wait. What were they? What were you can't like leave it there.
So the little balls.
Yeah.
It's like stuck energy in the gallbladder. It was like, you know, and that's where, you know how some people sometimes can get the, yep, I can't remember it right now. Well, you know how sometimes you can get kidney
Oh, yeah, kidney stones. Yeah.
right, those hard pellets. Well, it's similar. There's like, people can get gallbladder stones.
Okay.
So, like, I was on the way to getting gallbladder stones if I hadn't done the cleanse. Okay, and I want to tell you guys, since I have this story going, I've got to tell you day 10. Got to tell you day 10. And everyone who hears this, like, you're going to want to go sign up for the Aloha Farms cleansing, because you're going to freak out when I tell you this. So all these parasites leave your body, right? And especially if you've traveled. Oh, we lost Ethan. He's like, that's it. I'm out. I can't handle this. So especially if you travel, there's different parasites in different parts of the country. And when you do a cleanse, they come out and they look different. You know, and I honestly believe that
one's wearing a sombrero. I'm just kidding.
You know, they're meant to help us, but if we're out of balance, it can become a problem. So because I was out of balance, I had some problems, right? Okay, so real quick. So day 10 is the day that it's the opportunity to clear the largest parasites in the body. They're the ones that have become opportunity feeders, where they have learned that the iliac flap, which is the connection between the ascending colon and the stomach, they can push that flap open and go and get more food, like more tasty, yummy food, whatever. We're just making it up, but they have discovered that's where they live. So those guys are more difficult to get out of the body because, A, they're bigger, they're stronger, they've got more meat to them. If you're clearing them just with water, they're like holding on to your intestines. They're like, oh, thanks for the car wash. That was great. Well, so what happens is they use ice cold water, and it shocks them so that they let go. Yeah. And then the next day they come out, and usually they've died because the ice cold water was such a shock they didn't know how to handle it. So I had 3 the size of my thumb.
Really?
Green. The size of your thumb, girl. Parasite. No, the whole thing. I'm not just talking from like nail tip. I'm talking from right here to right here.
Damn. And width-wise too?
Yes. 3 of them. I was so freaked out. I mean, so freaked out. And then this one guy comes up and he's like, oh, you did day 10 today, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you saw the green guys, right? And they're like, yeah. He's like, oh, how many did you have? I said, 2. Don't worry about that. The last girl, she had like 7 of them that were twice the size of her thumb.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I've always wanted to do, I know that parasite thing's going to be epic whenever I commit to that. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my long story.
So how do you not get them again?
What?
Or number 1, do you get them from sushi? Because I do eat a lot of sushi. And then number 2 is how do you not get them again? Now that you go through all that.
Parasites are everywhere. You get parasites all the time. When your body is healthy and in flow and you have a lot of chi, your body is naturally getting rid of them, right? And the ones that they don't get are beneficial. We have beneficial bacteria, we have beneficial viruses, we have beneficial parasites. Not a lot of people believe in that, but I do.
Okay.
Ethan, yay, Ethan's back. Maybe. There he is. Ethan!
I'm back! My computer died.
Story. I'm just kidding.
Oh!
Okay, so yes, Michelle, you can get them back, but you can also get rid of them. And so I've done what they call tune-ups. I've done 2 tune-ups, which is really simple and really easy. And then anything that may have gotten stagnant in my whole digestive system, it just gets like when you take your car to get a tune-up, you know.
Which I have to do.
Enemas, aren't you?
Which is why I say it's so important for people to cleanse regularly. Either, there's some religions that they do fasting once a day every week. I believe in that personally.
Me
I
too.
also like a watermelon fast. I think those are great. You just drink watermelon juice for an entire day. Watch what your body releases. There's
Oh
other
yeah.
people, if you have a lot of stagnant energy, did you go and like shower, Ethan? Like you're all bright and sparkly,
I
radiating.
switched. Well, thank you. I have brain sparkle. No, I switched computers, so my camera is better, I think, on this.
Ethan, admit it, you had a cleanse, didn't you?
I did.
He went to Hawaii real quick.
Fully support colon cleansing. Colon cleansing is the bee's knees. And one thing that not everybody is aware of, 80 to 90% of your body's energy goes to digestion at all times. Digestion and elimination. 80 to 90% of your body. So what is your body? That's why like a lot of Qigong masters recommend you don't eat a couple hours after you do Qigong, because then the Qi can go to work on Boggy's. I see you, Boggy, smiling. He's agreeing with me. Because you need the Qi to go to other places besides digesting your food.
Yeah.
So when you go on a cleanse, if nothing else happens, your digestive system gets a break. So that means you have 80 to 90% more available energy to take care of whatever else is your body's like struggling with healing.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents. Since I'm all shiny now, that's my shiny 2 cents.
And they're saying
Matt, it's such a
that
big thing.
the serotonin, like all the happy serotonin, 90% of that is found in your intestines now too. It's not coming just from the brain.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Gut health.
Matt,
Gut health is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you can't digest food,
Cleanses are
you
so
can't. Okay, Buggy, your turn. Go.
Can we talk about cancer? I want to talk about cancer.
Let's
Does
do
anyone
it.
have something they want to
No,
share before like dive deep into cancer?
all I wanted to say on cleanses is like China and Russia. They're such a big thing, and being half Chinese, not half Chinese, being half Russian and half Irish. When I went to Russia, apart from they all swore blind, I was the reincarnation of Rasputin, which is another story altogether. But yeah, Russia's such a big thing for cleanses. Saunas and cleanses is such a big thing. In China, yeah, it's as Ethan said, there's a big thing with qigong and cleanses. Is clearing it out, and especially yeah, the melon water and grape is one I know of doing for a whole day. Just eating grapes and water for a whole day is a very much a cleansing thing. That's all I wanted to say. So
Let's talk about cancer. Let's do this. Let's talk about cancer. Serious. Use your serious voice.
That's the best way to do it, Ethan.
Cancer.
Okay, so that's some interesting information about cancer. I just want to start with. Okay, so from what I found, the first time that they started identifying cancer was back in 370 BC. BC.
Wow.
From Hippocrates, right? The father of medicine.
Hippocrates is the bee's knees.
Yeah, so if I do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research, I actually found 2 more references that were like, no, it goes as far back as 1600 BC, and then another that said, no, it goes as far back as 2500 BC. Okay, this is a long time we've had cancer awareness. Then it's so funny because they said the first causation of them understanding something causes cancer is in 1775. And I think it's hilarious because it came from a British surgeon who found cancer of the scrotum and found the connection was with chimney sweeping jobs.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Which I'm not sure there's definitely a connection, but whatever. So let me just say, I am 90% sure I'm going to offend people with what I say, and I don't care. Because nobody has the answers for cancer, and look at how long we've been studying it. We've gotten like all the technology that got us to the moon for the very first time, everyone's carrying in their pocket in their cell phone. So give me a break if anyone's like, you don't understand cancer, shut up, woman, I don't care. So that's my clause.
I like your disclaimer.
Okay, so here's my understanding of cancer. Cancer is totally an epidemic that's misunderstood. And all it is cells that have forgot their purpose.
Aww.
The great forgetting is what I call cancer. The great forgetting disease.
It's totally
It's the forgetting that spreads through your body, and until you no longer remember the light, and then you're dead.
So I think that everybody has portions of cancer in their body at all times. Just like we have beneficial bacteria, we have other bacteria that if we're not in harmony and we're diseased, we can get over amounts of bacteria. So cancer to me is simply lack of the cell remembering its purpose. Now, I am a big fan of whatever happens inside my body, I'm going to see outside of my body.
Yes.
So what does this mean to me? We have an epidemic of people not remembering their purpose. We have an epidemic of non-awake people reproducing like crazy, freaking just making babies.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to hear it from the parents. I've got friends who are parents who are like, shut up, Sheila, I can't believe you're saying this. But I'm saying it. We've got cells in our body that have a divinity that's flowing through them. It's the same divinity that holds the entire cosmic universe together. So that all the planets are like orchestrating in perfect harmony. No planets are bumping in with other planets. That amount of intelligence is flowing through every single freaking cell of our body. Every single cell.
Wow.
And if we allow this divinity, there is no more dis-ease. There is no more disharmony. So, part of the reason why I'm on the mission to inspire 1 million people to live happy and to be healthy is because cancer does not even need to be here. It doesn't need to be here. And when we wake up and we live consciously and we allow our cells to flow consciously and we allow this information that wants to and is endlessly flowing through us, we're going to live in a world unlike we've ever experienced before.
I absolutely agree, and there's just more evidence.
Yay!
The major things that feed cancer: sugar, refined white flour. How far away can you get from having any chi in your food if you grind it up, bleach the crap out of it, and then cover it with chemicals? How much deader of things can you get? And those are the things that are the most likely to feed cancer. It's been proven. That's why going on a raw food vegan diet is great for cancer, because you're bringing life force into your body. You're bringing knowledge. You're bringing the light. You're not having, people don't think about it this way, but if you eat food that is not alive, and I'm not saying that everyone should be a raw foodist because our digestive tracts are not up to handling a full diet of raw food. That's another conversation. But ultimately, if you are eating food that your body doesn't have enough chi in it, your body has to give up your chi to turn that food into your body. So if you live off Twinkies and super processed food, not only are you not getting any chi from your food, but you're having to give up more chi to turn those protein strands, let's say, for your muscles, to heal themselves, to turn the protein strands alive again so your body can assimilate them. You have to give up that much of your life energy into that.
Yeah, and you know what else is that I've learned is like the more psychic and the more sensitive you get, like my body starts to tell me, like you said, the food has a vibration and talks to us. It told me like brown rice syrup and like on the my fake sweeteners that are not sugar, but I'm still like guilty pleasure, like the health food bars those don't have any chi in them because they come in a package. And my body, my belly was like, no more of that, girl. Like you gotta. And I go back, I dance with it back and forth. But like as far as prana, like. when I am doing a disciplined, beautiful diet of like a cucumber, a little bit of olive oil, salt, hard boiled, it's so different versus like when I'm not doing that,
Oh, yeah,
and I'm eating small portions,
Yeah, I can't live off of a normal diet anymore. Like, you can ask my friends. I go to another city. I pack 3 days worth of food.
Oh yeah.
The day before cooking, because I have to have all of my food. Because I'm not eating white people food. White people food's fucking dangerous shit, man. I'd rather do some have a good time and not just like poison my body. If I'm gonna poison myself, I might as well like see some pretty colors or something instead of just eating. I mean.
Go ahead, Sheila.
But there are more and more people who are making healthy choices, and I mean,
absolutely.
When I travel now in airports, I'm amazed that I can actually, if I have to, find something that is alive in the airport.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing. I grew up, I'm almost 30. I've grown up eating health food in America, and like when I was a kid, there was nothing. There was like a Garden Burger was made by Garden Burger, and that was the only thing they made. And then holy shit, they came out with Garden Sausage, and it was amazing because it wasn't a Garden Burger and it had flavor. So the consciousness expansion, I'm continually astounded and delighted to see. Everyone got pissed off when Safeway started doing organics. It's like, fuck, as long as it's like, the greatest example I can think of is Stonyfield Farm. It's an organic yogurt, they make yogurt and milk and all this sort of stuff. They started selling to Walmart. Everybody got so pissed off. You're selling out, you're selling to Walmart. And the owner said, no, I'm making yogurt available to people who otherwise couldn't afford the yogurt.
Yeah, man.
So like just the fact that like even I saw a thing a while ago, even Walmart's starting to like change the quality of their meat. When Walmart's starting to change the quality of the meat, that means unequivocally consciousness is changing. Because when like the big bad scary guys are like, maybe we should go organic or we're gonna lose our ass.
Yeah, things are changing. People are being good. People are making choices. They're realizing they want to feel healthy. There isn't one human being I know that's like, no, I want to feel like crap. That works for me. No, I mean, everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to, quote unquote, feel happy. I mean, how people feel happy is different, of course. And there's going to be some people who can eat processed foods because they have so much chi in their body destroys everything they put in it. I have a friend who's like that. They can eat whatever they want. And I'm like, cool, that's awesome. It might catch up with you, but it might not. There's people who are more like me also that are very sensitive, and they're like, nope, can't put that in my body. Like you were saying, Michelle, there's a lot that comes in a wrapper or a box.
Yeah.
My body doesn't do well, but I've learned through this healing process that occasionally I can have a really healthy, like I have one on the counter right now. Here's my favorite. These are made in Austin, cacao, hemp, walnut.
Oh, yummy.
My body likes these. I was like, yeah.
I have an awesome cake recipe for anybody who
I like the Thunderbird on it.
If you can eat eggs and you can eat bananas, grind them up and put whatever the hell else you want. I usually put apples and carrots and stuff, and you can bake it. And it makes the best cake.
Yeah, it's like a weird pancake. Yeah.
No, you can. You just pour it in a baking pan. I eat butter. You can use coconut oil instead. Just pour it in a baking dish and put whatever you want in it. Cilantro is good in there. You use salad almost all the time. The banana gives it the sweet. The egg gives it the cakiness. If you put roasted coconut on top, then you're not eating any rancid oils, and you're getting high levels of saturated fat, balanced omegas.
I can't
it's all there. And
fruit. My body doesn't mix the proteins and fruit.
Is that what it is?
I'm glad yours does. That's awesome, but mine doesn't.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I like that you said that because I did that for a while because they're called protein pancakes. You mix the hemp powder with the banana and whatever, and it's awesome because it gives you that cake texture that I was craving like a year ago when I was like, yeah, I found this new thing, but then my belly like won't digest that together.
Yeah, I don't do good with anything processed like hemp. I can't eat coconut flour. I can't eat any. I can't.
Wow.
I'm not willing to deal with the repercussions.
But see, isn't it cool how there's enough diversity in this world where you can find something that totally works for you, Ethan, and Michelle, you can find something that totally works, and I can find something totally that works for me. And that's why it's awesome, because there's the grocery stores filled with stuff. And I would say try your best not to tangent on all the things you don't like. And like, oh, they're still making processed food. This world sucks. It's like, oh my God, then you're just feeding the energy of how it still sucks. That's stagnant energy, right? Let's just keep focusing on the things that work for us. And I think, you know.
Oh my God, and I just want to say, because you said this epically, and like, I don't know if we're wrapping up, but this is like, it was so beautiful, because you said, let's just, who cares why, that was so powerful, such a powerful statement. Who cares why it doesn't flow anymore? Let's just get it flowing. And that answered my question. The first question was like, how do I listen more to my heart and not my head? Is because I super analyze like everything about like, well, why isn't it working? What do I have to change? Blah, blah. Let me do shadow work on it. Da, 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 da. It's like, fuck that. Fuck that! Like, let's just flow and focus. And it's so, I've been working with this metaphor about like the white wolf and the which one do you feed? You know, the dark with the negative or the positive.
That's a great story.
Right, and so for anybody who doesn't know it, we all have two wolves inside of us, and a grandson is talking to his Native American grandfather, and he says, well, there's a battle going on always. Which wolf, you know, is going to win? And it's the one that you feed. So if you focus on the positive in your life, and this is what Spirit in the universe is teaching me so much, and all of us all the time, is that we need to just not care what the brick is. Sometimes, yes, sometimes you have to honor, like you said, honor our story and honor what brought us there so we can teach it, and it's medicine. The wound becomes the medicine. But really focus on just unsticking and unblocking, and that is following that flow and amplifying the good experience and the good chi and listening to your heart, and then amplifying your health and wellness. You know, it's so powerful. So thank you. So Sheila, you kick ass, man. You are a rock. I love your personality. I was so happy to this is beautiful and surprising to me. So I'm really grateful for you and the light. Yeah.
I get the face thumbs up. Yeah. Aw, thank you so much.
You even made Michelle swear. That's how awesome you are.
I know!
I got into it.
I dropped the F-bomb. Ethan dropped the F-bomb, and I was like, oh my God, I better drop an F-bomb. So, you know.
We'll have to put an R-rated on our podcast.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I get a little excited with my F-bomb. What?
Yeah, I've got a friend that always says, you've got to throw in a fuck every now and again. You know, it ain't right unless you throw an F word. Every now and again, just let it go.
Well, ultimately, swearing is just an extreme expression. Ultimately, it's just the connotation that we have to the word being bad, because like it's like light and dark meat on chicken. You couldn't say breast and thigh. That's why there's light and dark meat on chicken, because you couldn't say breast and thigh, because oh my God, if you said breast and thigh, you might actually have a feeling down there, and then holy shit, you're going to hell.
Whoa.
Done.
Whoa.
You know, that was like, this was like Puritan, like early 1800 consciousness of like,
wow.
You know, oh, these words are bad because they're the devil and all that sort of stuff. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've come a long way.
Words.
That's right. Fuck, we've come a long way.
We have.
Well, I wanted to say very quickly.
Anything else? How are we
on the whole cancer thing? Was the whole cancer thing is. So I just say very quickly, because my signal was rubbish. On the whole cancer thing, look up Greg Braden. Greg double G and then
Greg Braden.
Braden.
Yeah.
I've been to China and I know where he's talking about in China. There's information on his channel about there's a Chinese medicineless hospital in China where they have, and I've seen it happen. They've diminished, cured, if you want to use that word, vanquished a tumor within 5 minutes.
I've seen that.
You know, a lot of it is in essence they use words, but a lot of it is intention. It's a qigong. It's the energy in that area. But I've my teachers talk at least one place in the world, and I know there's other places exactly the same. We're saying cancer is incurable in the East, especially in China. There are places where technically nothing is. If you believe, you can because it's all energy. It's all cha and chi. It's all negative or positive. You turn the whole point of turning the shit into manure so flowers can grow. Turning the cha into chi. Don't focus on the darkness, focus on the light. Focus on your love, focus on your positivity. And in essence, this is what the great Sheila is saying, this is what Michelle's saying, this is what Ethan's saying. Focus on the good stuff. Focus on what you want. That's the whole point. We are all oneness. We are all the same. And this game's a matrix. This game is energy. But if you learn to focus on the positive stuff, be aware of the negative stuff, not ignore it, not run away from it, but be aware of it, but focus on the light. Focus on the good stuff. Now I'll shut up.
Yeah, so I want to piggyback on that because I also recently saw how they're curing cancer in Israel. They're saying that Israel is one of the most farthest leading advanced societies on curing cancer, and they're using light therapy. And
Wow.
they've actually been using light, pushing in light, and it's for prostate cancer, which I have a whole other theory on prostate cancer. But
asses and we can't accept what it's like to be a man, so we get cancer there? That's my
well, that could be, and I think anywhere you don't have flow is you're going to have stagnant energy. So if people aren't utilizing the tools, those tools are going to go to sleep. They're going to get stagnant. I just know so many men, which is a whole other story, that choose not to keep that area very activated. And there's a lot of shame, especially in the Western society, around masturbation, which is a whole other topic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense, man. Wow.
Yeah, so what I wanted to point out, though, is they're using light therapy. And, Ethan, I thought you would really like this because Chi is all about light. We're all energy. We're all particles of light, right? So, of course, it would make sense that they're able to activate cells that have forgotten their purpose because they're waking them up with a lot of light energy. Now, are we going to see profound results where the cancer doesn't come back? I don't know about that.
Ultimately, that has to be addressed by the being who's manifesting the cancer for themselves.
Right.
Like you can cure cancer with diet. The cancer is going to come back if you still have all of the emotional symptoms, all the mental symptoms, all of the unhealthy thought processes, all of the unhealthy living patterns. Like if you don't live in rhythm with your circadian cycle, you're going to try and reboot your hormone cycle. Good fucking luck rebooting your hormone cycle because it's been that way for thousands and thousands and thousands of humans before you. So if you want to try and reboot it, you can do it. It's really not going to work out well for you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a janitor for years, and I did martial arts at the same time. I ended up with all these little niggling injuries that wouldn't heal. I had all sorts of stuff going on, all sorts of little health problems, because I wasn't honoring my hormone cycle, because I wasn't honoring Spirit's purpose for me. Because if you don't, here's the thing that, like, the simplest way to put it, if you don't do what Spirit put you here to do, Mother Nature will come and clean your ass up. You're not doing your job. You're sitting around here rotting. I'm going to get the fuck out of the way.
He'll come and get you and hunt you.
That's right. She's going to come and get your ass with a fungal infection.
She'll bring you into this world and she'll take you out.
That's right. Yes, she's not dicking around. She's not interested in playing this game. Why don't we make it easy for each
other, right? Why don't we just keep an easy flow? And that's why, I think anyone who has a purpose and they're totally lit up and you're totally activated, stay true to yourself and then amplify. And amplify and amplify and amplify, because that's actually affecting so many people's energies around you without telling them what to do or even focusing on what they're doing wrong, when we are simply lit up as much as we can be, and then we're amplifying our own energy. It's healing. It's healing the planet. It's the cell of the body remembering and lighting up other cells.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then,
it's like the opposite of why angry people encounter so many angry people, because anger, You know, if you have anger in your pain body, it will trigger other people's anger. So it's the same thing with the light. If you go around shining your consciousness, shining your light around, you will remind other people of their consciousness, of their light, of their... It's like when you smile at people. I always smile at people. I smile at everybody I see. And, like, you can see, like, there's a crack in their consciousness, and they smile back, and then really quickly they put that stone, the stone closes again, and you see it. So, like, it's absolutely a matter of wherever your consciousness is going, it's going to affect the things around you.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately all that we are. Is we're just little suns orbiting around in the world, trying to keep each other warm with our light. Macrocosm, macrocosm. Microcosm, macrocosm.
So how much time are we gonna go? A little bit longer because we started later, or what's up, Sifu? He's got to unmute himself.
No, I'm here. I'm back. Totally up to you, Sheila. It's your show. It's your show.
Keep going. Run with it.
Carry on.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
It's
keep
my
going.
show.
Run, Sheila, run like the wind.
Ah! Okay, well,
Let's have a conversation about masculinity and prostate cancer. I love this conversation. I love talking about how fucked up men are, and how like, oh, there's so many things about this.
F-bomb, so I'm gonna just drop it all the time now.
All right, let's do this. We got this.
Show.
F-bomb, Sheila,
Oh
F-bomb.
No.
Do you want to? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, I want to hear your question. Yes, because I felt that might be a question. And I have one. What's the word I'm going to use? I don't know. Self-promotion. I don't know.
My question was going to be. What do you want to talk about? Like how people can get in touch with you and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I always encourage people to be my friend on Facebook. There's still room for that. I'm almost full, but not yet. And I also have my professional page on Facebook, which is Health Tip Girl. Please visit my site, Health Tip Girl, and sign up for my newsletter. And you can also get my free tips. There's 2 different ways you can sign up for that. And you guys probably don't even know, but I have a Go Get Funded campaign that I just released. And that's
awesome.
Where I'm asking for the most help. And I'll post it on the little YouTube thing so it's you can see it there. But it's 1 million happy and healthy. And I'm basically asking to meet a goal of $5,000 to help lift me to the next level of my marketing to reach 1 million people. Because I'm just like this little one-girl show right now who loves to create and has this amazing vision, but marketing, not my forte yet. I would love to have a marketing team. I'd actually love to have a Health Tip Girl team. I want to be able to focus on genres of helping men specifically. Ethan, you could talk about prostate cancer all you want. You could
talk about prostate cancer and being a fucked up man in this Western society and how fucked up we are. I'll do it all the time.
Sheila, make sure you send me all the links, and I'll do the thing I do best, which is share everything.
Yay!
Yay!
I want to have like the genre for men, the genre for women, and I've just recently connected into the younger community. There's like teenagers now that are following Health Tip Girl, and I'm so
that's awesome.
Good job.
And I want to like be able to reach them and talk to them in a way where they get inspired, you know, because they think so differently, and a lot of them are fully awake, and they haven't been fed all that processed food yet, or you know, and they're still fully connected to their light. And I just want to keep them as connected to their light because they're brilliant and they are the future of our whole.
The higher vibration, like as the Earth has been coming up in vibration, we saw it with the indigo children, and then it was the crystalline children. So because the Earth is at a higher vibration, higher vibrational beings can come in and stand to be here and not have it be this excruciating, like, awful experience, because a lot of interdimensional beings up until now have come in, and because their light body was so strong and the vibration here was so low, those are the people who you end up seeing who are like comatose, but they're psychic. They're out astral projecting all the time, but their bodies are these broken shells because they can't be in this reality because their vibration was too high. So you're seeing more of those beings being born into a stable physical condition. So you're seeing that manifest a lot more in the world.
Yep.
I just want to say, I really see, when you said the health tip girl and the marketing team and all of that, like, I see that as a concrete reality for you, sister. I really, like, I just saw it. Like, I saw it when you said it. So it's already happened. You just take the steps and it'll manifest in this world.
You're stepping into your queen, in the archetypical journey. You've become the queen. Now you must build the kingdom.
Oh.
So you need the army, and so this is a great way to build the army. Me and Boggy have been talking about this. Like, this is a great way, because we're all kings and queens. Everyone is a king and a queen. It's like everyone is the same but different. You know, we're all king and queen, so eventually everyone will be a king or a queen to the point where they have a kingdom that spans the world.
Sure.
At this time, you know, since we're all standing in line, Boggy knows this one, and in Taoist philosophy, we're all standing in a line. So it's really stupid to look down, not stupid, but suboptimal, to look back at someone who's standing where you're standing, or looking ahead to someone being like, wow, you're so amazing, because you're going to be standing there. It's just a matter of, is it this life? Is it next life? Is it 20 lives ago that you were standing back at there? Is it 100 lives ago? So everyone will
Everybody gets the spotlight. It's just
that's right, at some point.
I want to
piggyback walk into it.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on what you're saying, because I've been blessed to meet some really profound people in the world, and I'd say I've met 3 enlightened people, right? And now I think there's actually an army of enlightened people that are on the planet but aren't proclaiming their enlightenment. They're just living their enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for those people and the people that I meet. But what I wanted to share is, when I was searching and doing a lot of questing, there was this woman who is like multi-dimensional woman. Let's just, for sake of words and time, say she had abilities that I had never seen other people have. And so I was struggling at the time with this dynamic of, how is one person better than another? Like, that doesn't equate in my world, where we're all supposed to be equal, and we're all supposed to have like this God source energy through us. So no one's better than the other. And so that's kind of where I heard you were dancing with in your Taoist explanation. And what really helped me was, she said, yes, we all have the light flowing through us, but she said, picture a spider web, or this web of interconnectedness. But where the energy lies on either like this point, right, or this point of the web, or this point of the web, there's different roles that we're being asked to play.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think that's the part that's really important, where there can be a man. I mean, when I was in Thailand, I'm just like so humbled to remember this experience. When I was in Thailand, there was a woman that would show up every single day, to where we were on like these little huts surrounding this pond, and she would literally like be bent over picking up weeds, just picking up weeds, like every single day. And part of my mind was like, oh man, like I just wanted more for her, right? You know, like I just wanted more for her. And then I was talking to a friend about it, and they're like, how do you know that she's not just sitting there as happy as can be, loving that she feels peaceful? Maybe she's doing these prayers and these mantras that are meaningful to her. I mean, it's the land of Buddha, for crying out loud, and she's 100% spiritually awake, alive, loving life, and living the life of her dreams.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So I share this story to say that whatever purpose is firing us up is how we're meant to live. And I've had this very activated soul that I knew from, like, my mother used to say, from the time I could speak, I would say, I'm here to help the planet survive. And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean here to help the planet survive? I was like, I don't know, but I'm here. I'm supposed to help the planet survive. There can be other people who that's not their role right now. And it could be, you know, that woman who's picking up all the weeds out of the ground. That's her role, and she's helping the earth survive just by being that person. You know what I mean? Maybe because she's kind and she's never speaking hurtful words to anyone. And so I go on this very tangential explanation to say that we all have different roles, and whatever somebody's role is, it doesn't mean that they're any less important. Like, I am so grateful for the trash people. Are you kidding me? I don't want to pick up trash every single day. I hope they get paid $32 an hour to pick up trash, because who wants to do that crap? But I'm thankful that they do it. You know what I mean? And so there's this orchestra of tapestry of people filling roles. And thank God for that, you know, and so I just say whatever somebody's role is, live it and live it fully and be happy and be kind, you know, be kind and be healthy.
I want to piggyback real quick. I just did a little video that I did, I just did a video about Dharma and sacred action. And so it's about, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, you know, you do your Dharma, you do it without attachment. You do it without longing for any kind of fruit or outcome, right? So you're in complete surrender. You do it, and it goes back with what we said about Cancer. You do it because that's your role to play on this earth. It's your sacred duty. And you do it in complete service to that energy that you're bringing out in through you. And that's it. And if we're doing that, then we're in harmony. Same thing with the eating food. Because as we take the food, we listen for what is in harmony with us. We bring it throughout. You know, there's no attachments. Land of Buddha, that's the whole thing. And I'm learning so much about how to live in a it's a dualistic thing. I want a passionate, and you probably too, because you're a fiery woman, desirous, delicious life. You know, we all, right? We all love delicious, like, passionate. And then I feel like those of us on the spiritual quest, we're like hybridizing the non-attachment, it's not desirous in that way that it's greedy, but it's like desirous in the way that it's luscious and luxurious, and we get to take the pleasures of life and the sensual aspects of life and then also balance them. And that's like the Taoist way, right? We get to be in the flow of everything. So yeah, all of the above.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There was a time that I didn't want anything to do with money because I thought it was all evil. I thought it was the root of all evil. And I since have come to, I think, hopefully a much more mature understanding, and to the point of I want to stop fighting what is. Yeah. I want to accept what is and create within a system that already exists, and stop pointing fingers and stop blaming and saying, well, our society is this way because of X, Y, Z. It's like the same symptom of why you have a problem. Who cares? Let's just start flowing with it.
Right.
And so what I have found for me is that because I went through all this cleansing, and because I've become, I'm so spiritual now, and I understand we're all connected, and I understand there's a God, and you're just as important as I am. But now I'm like, wait, I'm in the dream, and I'm awake in the dream. Well, shiznick, I'm probably meant to have fun in this dream then.
Exactly.
Wait a second. Money? I freaking love money. How it comes, and what's been happening lately is because I'm in so much joy and so much play and so clear and bright, not all the time. I know, not all the time, but as much as I can be, that all this abundance starts coming to me in ways that I could have never imagined. And it's not just in green dollars. You know what I mean?
Money equals potential. I think that's what really gets people, and what really activates people, gets them so stimulated about money, is money equals potential in our society. You know, 98% of if you're rich, 98% of your problems go away. You don't have to worry about money anymore. You don't have to worry about getting a job, paying bills, all of that stuff. So having the potential to do that, because you can buy basically anything with money. So it gives you the potential to do almost anything. So it's like, because humans are always drawing off of the collective unconscious. It's like a clock. Ever wonder why storms go clockwise? All things in the universe generally go clockwise, unless you're at a certain part, and then they go counterclockwise. We made clocks go clockwise because that's how we subconsciously know everything works. Subconsciously, we are obsessed with potential. I mean, look at everything. Look at what humans do. We are obsessed with potential.
Well, that's evolution.
So that clearly matters. What?
That's evolution. We're programmed
totally.
to evolve.
Oh, totally. And that's just it. So you take something and you take something and you give it a potential. Money is like the potential. So that's why I really feel like everyone is obsessed with money on a certain level, because they're obsessed with potential. It's not the money. I don't care about some stupid pieces of paper, but I care about the potential for energy that gives me, of the energy that I can get in exchange for that, whether that be food, a car, a house, whatever. That potential is really the source. And people are so out of touch with their needs that it becomes very fearful. When your potential is threatened, it becomes very fearful. Your potential survival is threatened. So that's why people do ridiculous, horrible things like screw each other over for funeral home bills. You know, like it's a big one where like someone will pass away and someone will be like, well, I'm not paying for it, because their sense of safety is being threatened, and they're not conscious enough to be like, okay, my sense of threat, you know, because if you're conscious of it, then you can walk yourself through it. Like, okay, I'm scared because I feel unsafe, because I feel like my needs might not be met for my physical survival. So, you know, if you're conscious, you can walk yourself through that. But if you're one of the unconscious masses, you know, try and take their money away and watch them scream. Because you're threatening their potential. Because you're threatening their version of magic, of the sacred thing. You know, it's not the buffalo is no longer sacred. Now the dollar is sacred. Because that's what we put so much emphasis on. That's what we put. Our well-being is no longer attached to the success of the buffalo hunt or the relationship with nature. It's our relationship with money and how we can use that. And I mean, it manifests all over the place in like credit cards and debt and all that sort of stuff, and the mindset around it. And I still want to talk about cancer and prostate. I still want to go back there.
I just wanted to very quickly say, and there's that whole thing in, especially us lot here, the spiritual thing is this fear and this almost anger about you can't have money if you're spiritual. Why? Why not? You know, but money is chi. Chi is currency. We call money currency because it's energy. It's just energy. You know, you want to do things. You need. You know, until we turn into a Star Trek society where money is eradicated and everything's just there because it can be there. Until that happens, we need money, man. And you can be spiritual and have money. I mean, you know, like I love your Sheila. I love your whole, you know, want to heal, you know, want to heal 5 million people. That's and awesome. And it's like my version of that is I want a quoon, which is, for people who don't know what that means, is like it's the Chinese word for dojo. And I want a moving quoon, like a truck. But actually set up like a temple, and I want to go a little bit like Kane from Kung Fu. I want to go from place to place to place, driving around in this truck that has a healing bed, that has like a massage chair and a massage sofa, because you're not allowed to call it bed anymore, as well as the ability to actually have mirrors in it and actually do Tai Chi and Qigong as well, and to go from place to place, like the old barefoot doctors, going from one place to another, just earning what I need to thrive. You know, I don't want to survive, I want to thrive. But we're all meant to thrive. You know, that's the whole point. You can be spiritual and still blooming thrive, you silly person. You know, we're all meant to thrive. You don't have to suffer to thrive. You don't have to suffer to be spiritual. You don't have to suffer to be one with God. You know, you are God. You are the creator. So bloody enjoy it, for goodness sake. let it happen. Enjoy it, and you know you're allowed to thrive. So thrive.
Totally. I always find it funny when people are like, I always get a kick out when people are like, no, you should abstain from sex. Sex is creator having sex with itself. How is that not awesome? Like, and when you orgasm, you reach the state of no mind for a moment. That's why like you look at seriously sick, like seriously, I don't want to say sick, but seriously, with people with serious dis-ease, they love sex. Why? Because it gives them a break from their fucking consciousness while they're having sex, and especially when you orgasm, you reach that state of no mind. Because if it's a good orgasm, there's nothing else you're thinking about. At that point, your brain goes,
wait, is
and
there
you're good,
such a
and
thing
you
as
just float.
not good orgasm? Did I miss something? I was like, wait, is there a not good orgasm?
All right, fine. I will change it to a weak orgasm.
Oh, okay.
The stronger the orgasm, the stronger you reach that state of no mind. So it's like, why would you want to abstain from having that? I mean, obviously abstain if it's going to cause emotional issues or physical issues or anything like that. You know, and like I'm not suggesting everybody runs and jumps into the next open bed that they see. But that's happening spiritually for a reason. It's there. Like, why would you want? It's like denying yourself. If you can eat healthy and you can eat an amazing diet. You know, I know so many people who are on really restrictive diets and they're miserable. Like, oh, I can't have this. I can't have this. I can't have this. You figure out a new way to do it. You figure out a new way to make a cake. You figure out a new way to get your needs met. It's all there. There's no reason why you should go without. You should be okay with going without. In case you don't need it, you know, not have the attachment, but why not make every meal the best damn meal that you can have? Why not get laid as often as you can? Fantastic! That's why we're still alive, because if it wasn't so much fun, we would have died out a long time ago. I mean,
it's true that pleasure has a very healing quality to it.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you know, as with everything, you can get way too carried away, and that's all you do, and your whole life becomes about that pleasure.
I'm going to jump in there, Ethan, and I am going to say there's also an energetic responsibility that people can be aware of when it comes to sexual energy.
Oh,
so,
absolutely. There's absolutely a lot of
listening and thinking, oh, he just gave me the green light, go, I can go and have as much sex as I want. Yeah. You're like, wait a second, that's not really what we're trying to communicate with a loving partner, or, you know, things like that.
Oh, yeah, and there's a lot of things like, I mean, psychic entanglement, right? So if you think about someone, you create a psychic bond with them. So, like, if you are fooling around in your mind with someone that you don't have permission from, that is, from my perspective, extremely disrespectful and not something that you should be doing with your energy. And a lot of people, I know some people who, if they're watching this, I'm sorry, I disagree with your perspective. And to me, thinking about doing something like that without the permission of the being that you are participating mentally, emotionally with, if you don't have their permission, it, to me, is paramount to being inappropriately forward with someone who you don't have your permission from. So I absolutely don't, like, you know, sex is great, but everything has its place, and everything needs to be done with respect and integrity.
Yeah, respect and integrity. Ow!
Like, I mean, it's not cool to go out and, like, there's a great quote, and I don't remember what it's from, but it's like, a penis is like religion. It's fine as long as you're not waving it in everybody's face.
I've never heard that.
You know, so like, and the same thing follows for all things. You know, you need to be respectful, no matter what it is, no matter what the act is. You need to go into it with respect and integrity. Whether that's butchering a carrot, butchering an animal, having sex with people, growing spiritually, sharing your views with people, because people attack each other with their perspectives.
Yeah.
It happens. I mean, look at a debate. A debate is, let's go to war with our perspectives. You know, so there's the same thing.
I want to say too, before we get too far away from the money, I want to jump back in with the money just for a second, because Mr. Sifu, I think that there's actually a responsibility that the light workers have to make as much money as possible. Because if we're the ones who are amplified and we have a super high frequency and we're spreading the light,
Oh, I love that.
freaking have a responsibility to make money, because, and it's not because you're going to go and get the biggest house and buy the biggest boat and like pimp up. It's because you have a responsibility, because you know you're here to share the light, and so you're going to make a better website, or you're going to make a better marketing plan to reach more people.
Wow.
You're going to be spreading the light and affecting more people and amping people up. And so I honestly feel the spiritual community, and I'm not talking like spiritual foo-foo, woo-woo, oh, let's all pray together so we can ascend together. Let's all hold hands. Oh, my God, I just feel so many people burning me with their eyes right now.
Think about people like that.
Oh, my God. And let's all ascend with the ascended masters. No, the whole ascension is heaven here on earth. Like, if you want to ascend, be clear. Get all your chakras open. Open up your crown. Let in as much God light as you can possibly manifest through, and be the living heaven on earth. And then spread heaven on earth. And so I'm going to preach it. So money, we live in a system right now where money helps us do that. You know, I had to go through some heat of my own accord to like build a crowdfunding campaign, because my ego was like, are you kidding me? You're going to ask for help? You're going to ask for help? You're going to ask other people for money? And then, like, I went through this, like, you know what? It's okay. And if I don't reach my goal, that's okay. And if I reach my goal, that's awesome. And I tried to outline exactly what I'm going to do with it, because spiritual people who are the light workers and are doing the work and are amplifying the energy and are like, let's grow our own gardens, let's teach the children how to stay connected with the elements. God, make money, make a lot of money, and then do amazing stuff with the money.
I absolutely agree. It's like when people let their dogmas take over their diet. And I'll probably make some enemies for this one, but like people who are militantly vegetarian or vegan because they have dogmas about eating meat, when really, like, if you're going to be completely honest with yourself, and like if you can be, which is really difficult, a lot of people that are not eating meat need to be eating meat. Not a lot of meat, but they need to be eating more meat, because they're not well enough trained to supplement the things that they're missing from the meat, like, for instance, your B12. You know, unless you're eating like an algae, like blue-green algae, spirulina, chlorella, you're not getting your Bs if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. And that is going to affect your consciousness. That is going to affect your body's ability to do things. And how much of an effort can you put, more effort could you put forth to save 100 chickens if you ate one chicken and your brain started working better and your thought process was clearer? You could do a world of good. You eat one cow, you could go out and save 1,000 cows, because you're not sick on your ass at home, because you can't move, because your body's all fucked up, because you have this dogma that's saying, oh, I don't want to eat a cow, but the one cow that you're not eating is is causing you to not be able to go out and save 100 cows.
But it's different, but it's different at different times for different people, because I mean, like, yeah, it's different
if your body is ready to go vegetarian, eventually I believe that all consciousness rises to the point where once you have enough chi, it doesn't matter what you eat anymore. However, I personally need a lot of meat because I ain't fucking there yet. So.
But it depends. I don't even think it depends on that, because I witness different people doing different things, and I've been in different points in my own journey. So for me, it seems to change depending on what frequency I'm in, what my guides want, like what I'm listening.
Go through, I mean, vegetarian and vegan diets are amazingly healthy for a period of time. You can get amazingly clean. Everything has its place. Again, it comes back to there is no one set way.
Exactly.
Everybody's needs are different depending on what's going on in their lives. I mean, like, great example, your body burns 10 times the amount of vitamin C if you're stressed. So if you're stressed, your body is needing 10 times the amount of vitamin C that it usually does. That's just one day. That's an hour of your life. So you can't go and say, well, I need to eat a bazillion oranges every day because I need more vitamin C. You're stressed for 5 minutes, you need vitamin C for that time period. A couple hours later, you don't. You know? So it's all about, and that all goes back to being in the flow. which is recognizing the flow of what your body's needs are for that moment. So, you know, maybe some days you need a lot of meat. Maybe your body doesn't want anything to do with meat for a prolonged period of time. And just having the wisdom and the knowledge to understand that without getting your dogmas trapped in, without getting the monkey mind in there, I've heard it called boomeritis, you know, the enlightened ego of like, well, I have studied this, and this, so I know what's best. You know, when that starts to interfere with, when the dogmas start to interfere with your intuition, basically, if I was gonna sum it up in a short. That's what I've seen a lot of is people who have a dogma about not wanting to destroy life, because life lives off life. You look at, I mean, like on a microscopic level, there are tiny bugs feeding other tiny bugs to plants. How brutal is that? And how cool is that at the same time? Like, there's little tiny bugs I can't even see murdering other little bugs, feeding them to these carnivorous plants that are then gobbling them up. You know.
We're back to colon cleansing again.
Yeah.
Totally. Let's say that again. I couldn't hear you. Or not.
Oh. Foggy, repeat yourself.
Try again.
Say it again. Or not.
Again. I said, what I said was, we're back to colon cleansing again. That's what I said.
Colon cleansing. That's right.
Right on. That's good
stuff. It's all about colon cleansing.
I just want to say, Sheila, I thought you said, I'm not sure I can talk for 2 hours. Have you seen the time?
Yeah.
It's been exactly 2 hours.
I haven't been doing all the talking. Oh man, he just like dropped his.
Foggy down.
He dropped the mic.
I do need to end it here soon, so
let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be on the show with you all, and to enjoy this time and have.
Well, I'm really honored to be on your show.
What? Help me out.
What
is
Pretty sure.
I'd love to help you out, but I don't know if I can. So, all right. So, thank you guys, everybody, so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sheila, for kicking ass and being a rock star. And I would love to keep in touch with you. Just say one more time again. You've got healthtipgirl.com. Is that what it is? In order for people to get in touch with you, and they should sign up. Do you do a newsletter? How are you?
I just released my new site, and that was
congratulations!
It took 2 months, so now I'm kind of recovering, and I'm taking on this whole new inspiring 1 million people to be happy and healthy, and so I launched the Go Get Funded campaign, and I'll share links, and just anything I can do to support you guys too, please let me know.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe you can post some stuff. Maybe we can like bridge the pages so you're posting tips to the Way of Conscious Mindfulness audience as well. So
that'd be awesome. Yeah, send some links for me to the. We'll do that for you on the Way of Consciousness.
Yay!
Oh, that's so good. Well, I'm so grateful to all of our team. Thank you, Foggy. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Sheila. May all beings be blessed, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, and healthy, and be in the flow of their divine energy channel. And like Sheila says, may we be in the flow and call down the light. And then just don't worry about whatever's stuck. Just let it flow through you like a colon cleanse for like Oh, so good, so good. And gravity, you know. All right, so
I think that's going to be my new. I think that's going to be my new saying. Let it flow like a colon cleanse.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Namaste.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.